Fucking A. Oh, my cigarette's still burning in there.
And you got one going in your hand.
I know.
Fucking Travis.
Fucking Travis.
Are we going? Are we live?
Yeah, well,
Or
we're
like,
not live.
well, no, but. What's up, everybody? What's up, ladies and gentlemen? If that's how you self-identify.
If that's how you self-identify. We need to start addressing them as him, hers. I don't know any of the pronouns at all, actually.
He and she. Well, either do I. What's a pronoun?
What's a pronoun?
Just kidding.
Oh, pronouns, whatever. Pronouns, whatever. But this is sadly inappropriate, as you can tell. We're sadly inappropriate, so it just is what it is. Me and Chrissy were just fucking got together. We're talking about all kinds of stupid stuff. I'm gonna have Chris tell one more story to kind of kick us off today. It's just a little short guy, but it has something to do with fucking stealing socks. And I mean, really, have you ever had the roommate that you're just beefing with because of the stupid little shit that they do from time to time? My big thing is when I find a Cheerio on the ground. Doesn't seem like it's that big a deal, but it's a big deal to me because nobody wants to step on a fucking Cheerio.
Especially in their socks.
Especially in their socks. Because it stays, man. You can't even wipe that shit off. No. But I'm gonna go ahead and let old Chrissy kick that one off, and then we'll go ahead and jump into this a little bit, talk a little bit about some of our pet peeves, maybe get into some controversial topics, I guess.
Well, yeah, we'll come up with something.
We'll come up with something. Whatever.
We'll see. We're just going to play this one kind of by ear. But, so speaking of socks, so brand new pair of socks. There's nothing more comfortable, right? Like, brand new, the first time you wear them, it's the best.
I was just telling my lady that.
Yeah.
I was just telling my lady that like, if I get anything for Christmas, all I want is a pair of socks and I'm fucking happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh my God. I love it.
Well, especially when you get used ones all the time in the joint.
Oh my God. You ain't lying.
They're all the wrong size.
They're yellow.
One of them comes halfway up on your ankle. The other one comes fucking all the way up to your fucking knee.
Yeah. It sucks. It sucks. I DX my socks and get new ones all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Well, I mean, halfway new.
Yeah. Newer.
Newer.
You know, sometimes I was going in the right direction, sometimes the other. Sometimes I found the match in the DX with my old socks. Go figure. So, anyway, I was like, this story happens. I was like 20.
Real fast. I want to know why or how, okay? So, like, I know when we're out here and we're washing our clothes and one sock comes up missing, right? One sock comes up missing. Every fucking time.
Yeah,
every time. I want to know where the fucking socks go, number one. Number two, I want to know how I still end up missing a sock when I'm in prison and it's in a fucking pin bag.
It's the socks gnomes, dude. It's those goddamn gnomes. They do it. That's currencies. Socks and keys. But, so anyway, I was like 23. I was selling cars at the time, making pretty good money. And my friend at that time, he was a busboy at like Chuckarama and a waiter at the Belgian Waffle House. And so he did all right. Like he was able to pay his share and all that, but he didn't have a whole lot of extra money. So when we got this apartment, I went out and I bought everything you needed for the apartment: pots and pans, a couch.
You're a nice guy.
There was a futon actually, so I'm not that nice. But like a TV, you know, just all the stuff that we needed for a little bachelor pad. But I was at like Costco or something like that.
And buddy's like, this is the perfect roommate.
Yeah, right? You know, I think that's why you want to be roommates, because anyway, it doesn't matter. Fucking asshole. The thing that I came up on at Costco was this great big bag of socks. Okay, it was like 30 pairs of socks for like $27. And so it was like less than $1 a sock. I'm like, well, fuck yeah. Like, even if they're the shittiest socks in the world, like I wash them once and they fall apart, I don't care. They're still comfy that first time you wear them, right? Well, we move in and like a couple days goes by and I'm noticing my socks are disappearing. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I really thought it was the socks gnomes, but no. It was my roommate. He's taking my brand new socks. And so I talked to him about it. I was like, hey man, are you taking my socks? He's like, sorry dude, dick move, won't happen again. And I'm like, I mean, it's really not that big of a deal. Just fucking talk to me, And he's like, oh, no worries.
It's the principle, man.
Yeah, it's just the principle, right? So we're good for a little bit, and then my fucking socks start disappearing again. I'm like, this motherfucker. Right? I already tried talking to him, and we just signed a 1-year lease. Like, I can't just beat his ass, and like it's just, So I didn't know how to handle the situation, and I might have even prayed about it. I don't know.
Well, I mean, sometimes you need a little Jesus in your life to help you figure out the answer.
Fucking hey, you weren't lying. So a couple nights after I pray about it, goes by, and I wake up in the middle of the night, like, had this epiphany, right? I knew exactly what to do. So back then, the grocery stores were still open 24 hours. So I go to the store and I bought a couple of Red Bulls. They had ephedrine in them back then, they were awesome. And then I bought a jar of beef bouillon cubes. And I went back to my apartment and then I just sat down on the futon and sat there and just stared at his door, drinking these Red Bulls, just like, giddy up, like jittery, waiting. Finally, he gets up in the morning and he's getting ready for work. He comes out of his room. I'm like, hey man, you need a ride? You want to ride to work? I'll give you a ride. Like, I'm up, I'll do it, And he's like, yeah, that'd be cool. So take him to work, and I come back to our apartment, and then I don't know why, but I tiptoed in through his room and into his bathroom. There's no one in there, like, but I tiptoed, just. I guess I'm dramatic. And then I removed his shower head and I shoved 2 beef bouillon cubes in his shower head. And because he would come home from work, he would come home smelling like Chuck-A-Rama or the Belgian Waffle House, So the first thing he did was shower to get that smell off of him. And the like splash guard or the shower or whatever in the bathroom, it was like this tan color, and so it worked out perfectly. So I put these beef bouillon cubes in his shower head, and then he'd come home and shower, and like he would scrub, and the more he scrubbed, the more his pores opened, and the more it soaked the beef stew in it, whatever. So we lived together for almost 2.5 years, and I kept this up the entire time. I didn't tell a soul, not a fucking person. I mean, it got bad. I mean, he was going to dermatologists to try to figure out why he couldn't get rid of the smell. He had every kind of cologne and body spray and soap you can imagine. I mean, like, his counter was just filled up with nothing but cologne and shit. So I figured out once, kind of did the math, that I spent roughly $1,100 on beef bouillon cubes in that 2.5 years. Yeah, 2.5 years. Because that asshole stole 4, maybe $5 worth of socks. Yeah.
Who does that to someone?
I do. I do. Like you said, your words. It's the principle.
It's the principle, man.
I couldn't just let him get away with it.
It's the principle. I get it. The principle's a lot of the reason why things happen in this world, man.
It was so
You know
good.
what I mean?
Like dogs used to chase them, bees, flies. Like they just start. Random dogs would just come up and start licking him. He's like, "Oh, animals love me." I'm like,
Sure they do.
Yeah. I know why they love you. No one else does, but I do.
Does he know?
Yeah, I told him like 15 years after that. So we ended up working together at Stockton 12 Honda, and we were both salesmen. Like that's where I was working when this all happened, and then I went on to do other things, and then 15 years after all this, I get a phone call from Stockton 12 Honda like, hey, come back and work for us, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll come check it out. And then Jason, Jason, yeah, he happened to be working there, and so, which was my roommate at the time, and then the GSM, the general sales manager, he's like, so you were roommates with Jason? What was that like? I'm like, he's an asshole. And I tell the GSM this story that I just shared with you, and he's like, oh my God, what did Jason do when you told him? I'm like, I've never told him. He's like, what? He doesn't know? He has no clue? I'm like, no. And he's like, oh, we're gonna tell him. I'm like, well, fuck, we are. I don't mind telling him. So we worked there. I worked there another like 2 more years goes by, right? And everyone at the dealership, including Jason, they start calling me Beef. My nickname was Beef because of beef bouillon cubes, right? And that's how everyone addressed me. And everyone in the entire dealership knew, this story. But they call me Beef, Beef, Beef. Beef do this, Beef do that, whatever, right? So it's one day, yeah, just beefcake. Beefcake. So I'm such a beefcake, I can't even fit through the door. Anyway, so this one day, I'm up in the sales tower and I'm talking to the GSM, and he's like, Beef, go grab a VIN off this car, right? And just as he says that, Jason walks in, and Jason says, hey, what's up, Beef? And then he paused for a minute, okay, and he's like, Chris, I've known you longer than anybody here, okay? So, we're going on like 17 years of knowing one another, right? At this point. And he's all, I've known you longer than everyone else here. And I have no idea why everyone calls you Beef. And the GSM, he's like, oh my God, he doesn't know! He doesn't know! And Jason's like, what don't I know? And I'm like, nothing. And the GSM, he's all, Beef, I will give you $200 right now if you tell Jason. And Jason's like, tell me what? I'm like, no, I'm not gonna fucking, no. And he's all, I will give you $500 right now. Pulls the money out and throws it down on the counter. Right now, that's yours if you tell Jason. And I'm like, all right. So I take the $500 and I look up at Jason and I was like, so remember when we were roommates and my socks kept disappearing? He's all, dude, I was putting them back. Like, I'd wear them and then put them back so you didn't know. And I'm like, oh shit, I would have done this for free now. and he's all, okay, so what? And I go, well, you were stealing my socks. Talked to you about it. That didn't work. And you're my friend, so I couldn't beat your ass. So I was putting beef bouillon cubes in your shower head the entire time we lived together. You literally saw this dude's heartbreak. Okay, like, he went from like a grin because, oh, I was stealing your socks and putting them back, ha ha ha, to like, you're a dick. That's what he said to me, you're a dick. He's all, do you know how much I spent on dermatologists and cologne and body spray and all of that shit? I'm like, shouldn't have stole my socks, motherfucker. So We're not friends anymore.
You're not friends
No,
anymore?
I'm
Oh,
just kidding.
I was like, what?
I'm just kidding. But
15 years later, you're still upset about it?
well, yeah, I mean, it was a pretty big deal. I mean, okay, this dude is the most vain motherfucker ever. So another story about Jason really quick. It used to take him literally, okay, he had just short hair and he'd like spike it, you know, that's when spiky hair was all the thing, and he'd spike it, and it would take him like an hour, maybe even 2 hours to do his fucking hair. And we were always late to go places, like, it pissed me off. So I told him he looked good with a shaved head. He didn't, but I told him that, so he shaved his head. That way I didn't have to wait for him anymore. Motherfucker.
God, I don't know why. I don't know if I can call you Fred, bro. Like, I don't know if I don't know what the fuck's
Just
coming
don't steal my fucking socks.
Make you late, one or the other. Oh man. Well, speaking of pet peeves of running late, huh?
Yeah. If you're on time, you're late.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Really, that like I have to be like 30 minutes early to
Yeah.
work, or I freak the fuck out.
Yeah, you gotta get like settled in, and you know, and like.
Well, joke around with some of the coworkers and
Yeah.
things like that. And I like to be the first person there. And most of the time, I'm the last person to leave. man.
Absolutely,
It just is what it is.
that's work ethic, and you know, I should mention though, you know. What we were late to go to like the bar, and you know, like he was making me late to go to the bar or to a party, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
stuff like that, you know, or on a double date, whatever. I mean, but still, like it pissed me off.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Are you sure I look good with a shaved head?" Yeah, man. Like, and then it was just random. Like, I that's when Brad Pitt shaved his head once, you know, just like or buzzed it. You know, and I'm like, even Brad Pitt's doing it, dude. You know, but Jason had this really weird shaped head, and like he shaved it. I was like, whoa, fuck, how did that happen? Didn't your parents shape your head after you were born? Like, did you wear a helmet? I mean, what the fuck? You look like
It's like the fat guys in prison that shave their head with that big their head, and then they always have like fucking hair in the back of their fucking
yeah.
head where it folds.
I got a story about that. But Jason's head looked like, I can't remember the character's name on Star Trek, but he was that one dude with the weird shaped head. You know, like that's him.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, Jason, congratulations. You don't look good with the shaved head.
Yeah. He's bald now too, so it's really sad. Like now he has to shave his head. So like in the prime of his
Oh, you
life.
rock that cul-de-sac, bro. You rock that cul-de-sac. I got mad respect for those guys that rock cul-de-sacs, man.
Yeah.
I really do. If I had a cul-de-sac, man, I'd be wearing a hat like you all the time. Is
know.
that why you wear a hat?
No, I just love hats. Like I've worn a hat since I was in 4th grade. Like they're watches and hats. That's my
Watches and hats.
That's my shit. Like,
I got a badass fucking iWatch, bro. I wear it sometimes, but I don't have a charger anymore because my car got broke into.
motherfuckers.
So I mean, I still wear it. I still wear it. It just doesn't turn on. And so I'm like this all the time.
Man, it
Like,
died. It just died.
And one of my coworkers has a charger at work, and so I'm like, "Hey man, can I charge my watch on your shit?"
There you go.
But I'll never have I'll never have a different watch again, bro. I'll tell you what that watch can do. I'll never find a watch that can match that. You know what I mean?
This one's a Galaxy Classic 4, and it's the coolest watch I've ever owned. Like,
Is that the newest one?
yeah, it will.
Why do you have the newest one and not the newest phone?
Well, I bought this right before I went to prison. Okay, and I got to like, so they were gonna take it from me. Like, you know, what is it they do? Like, they go through your property, and then like anything you go into prison with that has value, they fucking give it away. They donate it, or there's a specific word for it, and I just forgot this word for a minute. And like donate whatever, you know. And they sent me that paperwork, and they're like, okay, well, this, and this, all this shit is getting donated or whatever.
You don't have it picked up.
Right. Well, no, not even that. Like, so my mom could come pick up like normal shit, my clothes and all of that. But like this watch, they were gonna fucking give it away, whatever. Like I don't know why they do that, but they sent me the original paperwork. So like the white sheet, okay? And so I went through and I changed it. So I'm like, no, I'm not fucking donating this. So yeah, really, I scratched off AP&P was supposed to pick up all of this shit, the valuable stuff I had, and I scratched that out and I put my mom and sister's name so they could pick it up. I was like, Mom, hurry and pick this shit up, you know? And so I got to keep my watch.
Nice,
But-
man. You work the system.
Fucking
That's a
A.
rare thing, bro.
I know.
That's a rare thing. You know what happens when I try to work the system? Okay, I wasn't even trying to work the system. I just know my rights, bro. Okay, so I get pulled over, right, and I deny a fucking blood test because he's telling me I have a I have to take a blood test because he thinks I'm high or some shit, right? So I deny the blood test. I'm like, no, I ain't gonna give you guys my blood. Like, fuck that. I know my rights. I don't have to do that. Like, you guys gotta get a fucking warrant to do this. He gets a warrant from somebody in a fucking different, like, so I'm in fucking Springville. Lehigh's 4 cities away, dude. He gets a warrant from a judge in Lehigh, and then fucking gets my blood, right? I pass it. I get out of prison. I still have to have a fucking interlock for it, bro. Because I denied the test. Because I denied it. Not because I, like, I passed the motherfucker. You know what I mean? Not because I had a DUI, but because, like, so I still got a fucking interlock in my shit right now. And honestly, it's ridiculous, dude. But that's our system, bro.
Yeah, our system's so broken. So the other night I was at the gas station and
Wait, did you get stopped by the cops?
no, well, okay, here's what happened. So,
Oh man, I don't think everybody has time for another 40-minute story.
no,
bro.
it's really pretty quick.
Okay.
So I walk up to the gas station in Eagle Mountain and I go to get a drink, cigarettes, whatever.
That was
Okay.
a long walk.
And yeah, it's like a little over a mile, you know. It takes a second, but that's what I had to do. And anyway, so I was walking into the gas station, and this cop, he's getting out of his personal car. He's getting out. It was a Volkswagen Jet, okay, but he's in uniform, and it's a West Valley City uniform, okay. So I walk right past him, you know, whatever. I don't give a fuck. Right?
You ain't doing anything wrong.
Yeah, you know, and I go right in and I get in line, you know, to get my cigarettes, wherever I was good. And he had walked back to like the cold drinks, you know, like the cooler. And then all of a sudden, like I'm standing there in line and he comes up to me and he says, "Are you on probation or parole, boy?" And I'm like, "What did you just say to me?" And I'm all, he's all, "Are you on probation or parole, boy?" Or no, he said son. He called me son. And like, I'm all, "I'm older than you, kiddo." You know, like, don't call me son. And he's all, "Answer my question." And I'm like, "Did I do something wrong?" And he's all, "Answer my question." And I'm all, I look and I see that he's from West Valley City. And I go, "I'll tell you what, go get your buddies across the street and then I'll answer your question." Because the Eagle Mountain Sheriff or the Utah County Sheriff, whatever, but the Eagle Mountain office is like right across the street, you know, and it's like 9:30 at night. But he just came up to me for no fucking reason, asked me if I was on probation or parole. I mean, I think he saw my ankle monitor. Okay, so I mean, that's the only thing I can come up with is he saw my ankle monitor and asked me that. But still, like, the hell, I'm standing in line. What did he want to cut in front of me in line? Was he like, I don't know what the fuck he was doing, but I was a dick back. Like,
Sometimes you gotta be a dick back.
yeah, it's just I didn't answer his question. I mean, I'm probably I don't know if I could get in trouble for that. Like,
At this point, I don't think so. I mean, he could.
I mean, he was out of his jurisdiction. He wasn't in a police car. He did have a uniform on, but I mean, it was West Valley, and I'm literally just standing there. Like,
Yeah, you're not doing anything.
I wasn't doing anything that could even.
Yeah, it's not his place, anyways.
I hope I don't put off the vibe that I was about to rob the place. You know, like I wasn't, but like I mean, he
Even if you were.
Fuck.
Even if you were. I mean, I'm just saying, like, even if you were, I mean, until you do something wrong, you ain't doing something wrong. You know what I mean? Like that's the bottom line. Like, even if the thought was like, yeah, I'm gonna rob this place or whatever, and then you decide against it. I mean, there's no crime until you think until you do it. You know what I mean? And so it's not his place at that point to do anything. You know what I mean? It's like in Pleasant Grove. I had a cop pull up on me in the middle of the day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon because I was pulled over on the side of the road. My car literally broke down. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm in front of this house, and they pulled up on me. Yeah, somebody called and said you look suspicious. So? Like, so what if I look suspicious? Yeah, you look like so we have a right to search your vehicle and search you. No, you don't.
The fuck you do?
You know what I mean? No, it's a law that you can't look like a suspicious vehicle here. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Because honestly, I could call the cops on any of these pregnant women out here. You know what I mean? Who are walking around down the street with their fucking children and say, you know what, these people are suspicious as fuck. I don't want nothing to do with them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Come get them. You know what I mean? Granted, I ended up going to jail that day, but I mean, I'm not gonna explain why. I'm not gonna explain why. But I mean, regardless, like they should still be following the laws. Like, it's not illegal to look suspicious, dude. No. You know what I mean? And I mean, it just happens, man. Like they just take advantage of things, you know.
They've done that shit to me too. They've rolled up on me and you look like,
well, that's what happens.
A suspect in such and such a case, or like you fit the description of a suspect. I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh, that's my favorite thing when they roll up on me. When they do that. You know what I mean? I just pull out the race card. Hold on. Not all black people look the same. You know what I mean? Hold up.
I pull the get out of jail free card from my Monopoly. So, crazy enough, I usually carry a get out of jail free card from Monopoly on me at all times.
It seems like it worked. I can tell with that anger monitor.
It just worked twice. Okay, well, I mean, like, not get out of jail, but they didn't arrest me because I made them laugh or whatever. They're like, okay, well, we're just going to give you a warning today. You know, and because I literally, instead of my ID, gave them the...
And I'm not sitting here bitching about cops. Like, the truth is I don't have a problem with them. I really don't. You know what I mean? I mean, they ain't my favorite people. And I've lived my life the way I've lived my life to make it so I feel that way. You know what I mean? But I lived my life that way to put me in that position. You know what I mean? I have a problem with individuals.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And that's what my issue is like that cop that fucking said that to you. I mean, that's entirely based off of some guy just being a dick, and that's an individual circumstance, not a fucking cop circumstance. The fact that he had that badge is what gave him the balls to be able to say that. You know what I mean? Now, I'll tell you what, man, people don't just talk to me and treat me in a certain way, regardless of whether they got that badge or not. You know what I mean? Like, when cops are staring me down, I stare them down right back, whether I'm on parole or not. That's irrelevant. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, motherfucker, just because you fucking got that badge doesn't mean I ain't a man no more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I mean, some dude calling me son, I mean, that's an individual circumstance. Like, fuck that dude. Oh, it would have pissed me off too. Who the fuck are you, dude? You know what I mean? I don't know who the fuck you are. Don't call me your son. You ain't my daddy, motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of the time that's the way it goes. You know what I mean? But I've definitely had circumstances in my life where officers have helped me. You know what I mean? Like there's a situation, man. There was these 3 dudes who walked into a bar that I used to call home, basically, because I spent a lot of time there, and they're sitting there fucking talking extremely derogatory about one of the bartenders there, and that happens to be my homeboy's lady. You know what I mean, at the time. And so I'm like, I speak up, hey man, that's my homeboy's lady. She comes back out and he slaps her ass.
Oh, hell no.
I said, what the fuck, man? I said, hold up, man, that's my homeboy's lady. I just explained this to you. He says, well, that piece of ass that you're sitting with right there, I wouldn't mind taking her home and doing a couple things to her. I said, this is a girl that I'm sitting with and having a conversation with at the time, and my other homeboy jumps up. Well, 2 of them jump up, trying to fight, and I'm like, well, you guys sit down, whatever. I'm a patient motherfucker, bro. I'm a real patient motherfucker. Whatever, you know what I mean? I'll sit back, whatever. So I sat back. They're all fucking frustrated, trying to fight and shit. And I'm like, dude, just sit back. It ain't no thing. I'll catch them when they leave. You know what I mean? So, and I explained that to my buddies. They're like, yeah, we'll get them when they leave, you know? So anyways, I fucking go, I go about my rest of the time there, you know what I mean? My other homeboy is fucking trying to fucking hurt him out, you know what I mean? And I don't know what the fuck he was thinking, but he's trying to hurt him out. Like, yeah, these guys are gonna get you. We gotta get you out of here right now. You know what I mean? So, anyways, he gets him out, and I see him walking out the fucking door. My other buddies kind of forgot about the situation at this point. Well, I follow him back outside, and I remember I was just kind of. I go out there and I'm like, hey, motherfuckers, you remember me, motherfucker? You know what I mean? So I start fighting with them and shit. And I remember they're all on the ground at some point. You know what I mean? And I'm like jumping from one to the other, to the other, like I'm just literally running in a circle, like hitting one a couple times and jumping to the next one, hitting them a couple times, jumping to the next one, hitting them a couple times. Well, anyways, I get done. You know what I mean? They're all on the ground and I go fucking walking back inside and I go in the bathroom. I'm washing my face off and shit. And I get a knock on the door. Travis Judson in there, whatever. Yeah, it's me, you know. So I open up the door, you know what I mean? I'm washing my face out. I'm missing my 2 front teeth. They both got knocked out at the time. You know what I mean? Getting the blood off my hands and shit. And he cuffs me up and walks me out. And the girl that I was fucking talking to, I wink at her and I smile at her. I'm missing my 2 front teeth, you know what I mean? I'm missing my 2 front teeth. Wink at her, fucking smile as I'm walking out. They take me out. And they're like, well, basically, 2 of those guys went to the hospital tonight, whatever, and whatever. I'm not gonna explain what happened to them, but they're like, well, there's 3. Since there was 3 on 1, we're gonna. Do you want to press charges? And I'm like, wait, what? And they're like, do you want to press charges? I'm like, look, I've been out of prison for a while. I terminated parole. I've been doing good. They're like, yeah, that's why we're asking if you want to press charges. I'm not going to press charges, man. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
I'm not pressing charges. Like, it ain't no thing. Obviously, they got what the fuck they deserve. So, anyways, the cops are, they're like, okay, so how are you getting home tonight? And at the time, I'm running my diesel service. You know what I mean? I got my diesel truck with all my tools on it to work on trucks and shit like that. And I got to work in the morning. And so I was like, my truck's here. I haven't had very much to drink. Here in about an hour, I'm going to leave. They're like, oh, well, we advise against that. You know, you've been at a bar. I says, man, give me a breathalyzer. You know what I mean? They give me the breathalyzer. I pass the breathalyzer. They're like, okay, look, you can still get a driving while impaired. So hold on 1 second. He goes over, talks to his buddy, comes back, and he's like, how about he drives your truck home and leaves your keys in the fuel door, and then you can get a ride home. And I'm like, wait, you guys are telling me you're going to drive my truck home 2 cities away from here, and you're going to leave my truck there, and I can drink the rest of the night and not have to worry about how I'm getting home? And they're like, yeah, that's exactly what we're saying.
Bet.
So they take my truck home and bring my keys back, dude. And bring my keys back to me and give me my keys. G. It was super tight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then but at the same time, and I just got done beating these 3 dudes up, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I thought for sure I was going back to jail, or going back to the prison, if anything, you know what I mean? But jail at least. And so, anyways, like a year later, I pull my truck up to this apartment complex and I run inside to my homeboy's house while my truck's still running to grab my backpack. I come back down and this fucking dude's putting a boot on my truck. And my truck's still running. You know what I mean? Like, obviously I haven't been inside. Like, I'm literally 3 minutes away from my truck. And I'm like, oh, you motherfucker. And I drop my backpack. I was like, I'm going to fucking kill you, dude. Or I'm going to beat your ass is what I said. I'm going to fucking beat your ass. And I drop my backpack and he runs and jumps in his car, rolls his window up and leaves the crack like that far. And he's like, I'm calling the cops, get away from my car. And I was like, no, I'm going to fuck you up, dude. You know what I mean? Get this fucking boot off my car. Cops show up. And the cop's like, you don't remember me, do you? The sergeant that was on duty, he's like, you don't remember me, do you? And I was like, no, not at all. He's like, all I can say is that I'm happy you didn't do anything to this guy because I remember what happened when you got those 3 guys at the border. Do you remember that about a year ago? And I was like, wait, hold on. You were there? And he's like, yeah, I was there. And he's like, so what I'm going to tell you is this. We hate these tow truck drivers as much as you do. So me and all the guys here, we all decided that we're going to come together and we're going to pitch in and get this boot off of your truck for you so you don't have to pay for it.
Fuck yeah.
And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You know what I mean? And like, this is what officers are for. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying they're there to pay to get your boot off your truck. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is if they're gonna do their job, they do their job, like, and care about the community and shit. You know what I mean? And that like I said, I don't have any issue with officers. I have an issue with individuals, and a lot of them take the power and let it go to their head. And trust me, I'd let it go to my head too if I got beat up in high school.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? If I kept seeing the guys that beat me up in high school, I'd definitely utilize my power against them. Why wouldn't I? You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like if you're gonna take that oath or whatever the fuck it is, then do it to take care of people. You know what I mean? That's why I really fucks with Chicago PD, man. You know what I mean? Hank Voigt's about it, man. He cares about helping people and getting the bad people off the streets. That's about it. You know what I mean?
You know, there are some good cops out there that are doing it for. They have that job for the right reasons. They want to help people. They want the community to be safe, right? And there are, but I feel like it's few and far between anymore.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Most cops are just arrogant fucks, and like you said, like, so the first cop that ever beat me up.
Oh, fuck. The first cop to beat me. Hold on, how many times has this happened?
I've been beat up by 5 cops and tased by like 4. Okay, and like it was all unwarranted. I promise. Like, so the first one. Okay, so I was 18 and never been in trouble in my life. And I was driving my boss's truck home. We used to go golfing every Thursday, okay? And I'm driving his truck home. He's passed out. He's shit-faced drunk in the passenger seat, right? So I'm driving and I get pulled over because one of the license plate lights had burned out. Now, there were 4 of them, and just one of them. Like, I mean, the license plate was lit. Kind of good, okay? But he pulls us over, right? And this is literally the second time in my life I've been pulled over. So I pull over,
I lost my cigarette, bro. And it's inappropriate. Once again, another inappropriate cigarette moment.
Sad.
It's sad.
So, I get pulled over, and the cop comes up and he asks, license, registration, and insurance, right? So I get the registration and the insurance out. Well, my wallet is in my golf bag in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, can I grab my wallet out of my golf bag? And he's all, no, just tell me your name. And so I'm like, okay, it's Chris Birkinshaw. Here's my address. Here's my social. I even know my driver's license number, you know? And I give that all to him, right? Well, so he goes back and I guess runs my name, whatever the fuck they do. And he comes back to the truck and he hands me the insurance and the registration. And he goes, will you step out of the truck for a second? I was like, sure. And I get out, and then he like spins me around and then pushes me up against the truck and throws me in handcuffs. And then he drags me back to the hood of his car, throws me down on it, and sticks his elbow and his forearm in the back of my neck. And he's like, why the fuck did you lie to me? I'm like, what? I didn't lie to you. He's all, why the fuck did you lie to me? And I'm all, I didn't fucking lie to you. And he goes, when I ran the information you gave me, it came back Bruce Christopher Birkinshaw. I'm like, motherfucker. Like, okay, so I've gone by Chris my entire life. I mean, at this point, at 18 years old, nobody's, okay, so in 6th grade when I found out my name was Bruce, that was like the first time. That's another story. Yeah, that's a quick one, I'll share that after this. So, and then like, at the DMV when I was 16, like they call it Bruce Birkinshaw. Those are the 2 times up to this point that anyone's called me Bruce. So I've gone by Chris my entire life. He asked me what my name is. Instinctively, I just said Chris Birkinshaw. But I gave him my social. I gave him my driver's license number. And my driver's license said Bruce Christopher Birkinshaw. Like, this dude, he's a cop. Shouldn't you be like a little, like, couldn't you put 2 and 2 together on that one, asshole? But so he's got his arm in the back of my neck, and he was a little guy, like he was. I mean, like just this little cop, and I straight up asked him, "Oh, did I beat you up in high school?" Like, what in the fuck is your problem? And he's all, you lying to me. And I'm all, I didn't lie to you about shit, man. My full name's Bruce Christopher Birkinshaw, Chris Birkinshaw. And it's what I've gone by, okay? It was an oversight. I gave you every bit of other information that...
It's correct. It's
yeah,
correct.
like,
yeah.
Is this? Are you gonna be a street cop the rest of your life, or are you gonna? Do you want to be a detective? And he's all, I was gonna be a detective. And I'm all, well, you're not gonna be a very good one. So, anyway, like, the motherfucker, he ended up letting me go with the warning. He didn't even give me a ticket for a burned out license plate light. Right? And yeah, so that was the first time I got beat up by a cop. I mean, it wasn't as violent. Like, the next time was right before I went to prison the first time, and 4 Murray cops that arrested me. I was in handcuffs. They stopped in an empty parking lot, okay? And they pulled me out of the car, and I'm like, what's going on here? You know, like, are they gonna let me go? Yeah, I was all excited. You know, like, oh, good. The 4 of them beat the shit out of me. They're like, they said, if you think you're gonna walk down the streets of Murray with your head held up high, you've got another thing coming, and beat the shit out of me, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Yeah, that's that. That's right.
really quick, the story, my name. Okay, so as we mentioned here, my name is Bruce Christopher Birkinshaw. As you guys know, I go by Chris. Anyway, I was in 6th grade. It was like...
Or Chrissy for short.
Yeah, Chrissy for short, or for longer, or whatever. Throw an I and a Y out. I don't know if I spelled Chrissy with an I and a Y yet. I don't know. Okay.
Well, I mean, we'll figure out what pronouns are here in a little
Yeah,
bit.
I'll Google that in just a sec. So I was in 6th grade, and it was like the second day of school, okay? And the teacher, she's doing roll call. And she says, Bruce Birkinshaw? I'm like, what the fuck? I start looking
There's another
around.
Birkinshaw here?
Yeah, you know, I'm sitting right next to my best friend Gabe at the time. And like, he's looking around for this other Birkinshaw, right? You know, and I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't know I had a cousin named Bruce. And the teacher again, she's Bruce Birkinshaw. And we're looking around, nobody's raising their hand, you know. A couple people are looking straight at me just because my name's Birkinshaw, you know, but whatever. And then she says it a 3rd time, and then she stops, and she's like, I'm sorry, Chris Birkinshaw. And I'm like, that's me. And she goes on with roll call. And I'm just completely confused. Okay, like, what the fuck is going on? You know, and so she finishes roll call, and I walk up to him and I said, excuse me, why did you call me that before? And she goes, oh, I'm sorry, sweetheart. I just didn't see the note on the side that you like to go by Chris. And I'm like, what? And she goes, yeah, it won't happen again. I'm sorry, sweetie, you know, whatever. And I turn, I walk straight out of the classroom, and I walk straight down to the office. And back then, like, you had to ask the secretary at the office if you could use the phone. I didn't. I walked straight up to the phone, and I called my mom. And my mom answers. This is the very first time I ever swore at my mom. I go, what in the hell have you done?
Just devastated.
Like,
devastated.
Okay, because so my dad's name is Bruce, okay, and I didn't know my dad. Like, I didn't meet my dad really for the first time until I was like 33 or something like that. And so, what in the hell have you done? And she goes, what's wrong? And I said, why didn't my teacher call me Bruce? And my mom's like, oh my God, honey, I'm so sorry. Like, we tried to tell you. I'm like, tried to tell me? Fuck? She's all, I named you after your father. I'm like, my whole life has been a lie. Like, who am I? Like, oh my God. But still, and she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm all, when were you going to tell me this? And she goes, well, I knew I had until at least you were 16 when we had to get your driver's license. I'm like, oh my God! You know, my mom's like, I really didn't want you to find out this way. And then, like, I said, it's so weird. I'm like, who else knows? You know, and like it was just her secret or something. So my grandma knew, my grandpa knew, my uncle knew, like all my family, all my really close family. That like, I'm like, oh my God, you know, I couldn't believe it. My grandma's been lying to me. She calls me Christopher. That's not even my name. Well, it was my middle name, but like, what the fuck? Oh my God, I was so upset. It was like, okay, so it really felt like Mark McGuire had taken a baseball bat and hit me upside the head and just, you know, like, and
Yo, who am I?
I know, like, I didn't,
Who am I?
I mean, there's like this whole other part of my life I knew nothing about. I mean,
It's kind of like when I found out when I was adopted. You know, I mean, I got a white mom and a Hawaiian dad, and my whole life I had no idea I was adopted. No, I'm just kidding.
That's awesome. Seriously, that reminds me of the movie The Jerk. Remember The Jerk? It was Steve Martin, right? And it's taking place like in the late 60s, maybe early 70s.
Yeah.
You know, and he's been adopted by a black family, okay? You know, and so he's a grown man at this point, right? And his mom sits him down like he's having a hard time with something, and his mom sits him down and she's like, I think it's about time I tell you that you are not my natural born son, and you were left on our doorstep just when you were a baby, you know. And he looks at her and he goes, you mean I'm gonna stay this color?
No, I knew my whole life. I did know my entire life that I was adopted. I mean, it was something that I took a lot of pride in when I was a kid. You know what I mean? I used to explain that when I stop.
Sorry, I need a girlfriend.
when I like I mean, anytime they're like, tell us something about yourself. Oh, I'm adopted. You know what I mean? I knew my entire life. In fact, the day I was born, my parents were at fucking Home Alone. And I mean, I know that ages you, but I know that ages you, but not me. You know what I mean? They were at Home Alone when I was born. They waited forever, and my dad finally pried my mom out of the house to go watch a movie, and they got the call that I was born. They were waiting for me for weeks and weeks. But yeah, I didn't know my entire life that I was adopted. But you know what that reminded me of when you were talking about that movie is fucking Dumb and Dumber 2.
Yeah,
Dumb and Dumber 2.
Oh my God.
So he's all, they're all, we're not your real parents, they're all Asian. He's like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's just like that.
It's just like that.
It's so funny. Steve Martin, he's such a G. Like, I love that guy. But yeah, that's one of the funniest scenes ever, though, in Dumb and Dumber 2.
Yeah. It's the only scene.
They're just sitting there eating peanut butter. He's trying to ask for like a kidney transplant. Like, we thought you knew. What? And then that part, like, so then he goes to see Frida Felcher or whatever her name is, that because he gets that postcard that he's a dad, you know, and so he's gonna go talk to her about their kid, you know, and again ask for a kidney transplant, but then she ends up telling him, like, at the end of the movie, like, no, it's not your kid, like, you can't get pregnant by what we did, you know. He's like, what? And like, you have to have sex, like, and he's like, what? And then like she explains what sex is, and he's like, shut up! Get out of here! What? People do that? No way! That's so funny.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of stupid funny. You, Chris, I know you are, but it's...
I'm a fan of funny. Like, I'll appreciate anything that's funny, you know? I mean, really.
Yeah, I know you'll laugh more than most people I've ever met in my life. So.
I do laugh a lot.
Yeah, it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable. I mean, you definitely made my time good, man. You know what I mean?
Bro, we had so much fun in prison.
We did have a lot of fun in prison.
Oh my god, dude!
Hey,
Like,
I was gonna fucking pull out that note that you sent me. So there I am. There I was, sitting on the silver shitter. The stainless steel. Taking care of my business. And sure enough, I got a note underneath the door. I lean over, grab a hold of this. Aloha, Travis. Have a nice poop. In fact, my lady found that after I got out. She's like, "What in the world is this?" And I'm like, "Yep, my buddy sent that to me. He gave it to me while I was in prison. It was pretty awesome." So, I know it says low battery, but
are we still good? Are we still recording?
no, yeah, it's still recording. I mean, fuck it.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
whatever. Fuck it.
I remember that. Aloha. I thought that was so funny. Anyway,
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
That's when you knew we were best friends.
Fucking-
Did we just become best friends?
Yes. You want to go do karate in the garage? Yes.
But anyways, this is your second episode of Sadly Inappropriate. Appreciate you for tuning in. If you could like and share us and help us get out there a little bit, because really, I mean, we only got 100 fucking watches on our last one, and we're really kind of disappointed in it.
We need comments too. Like,
Yeah.
seriously,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Like, comment
Tell us
on
some
that
of your
shit.
fucking pet peeves so we can talk about it. Because really, that's what I want to know. Is like all the stupid shit that you're tired of fucking dealing with in the world. Tell us that stuff, because we need to know what the fuck people have a problem with, so we can really talk
Exploit
about
it.
what the fuck grinds our gears.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Let's do it. Like this channel is as much yours as it is ours.
Well,
You know, like,
Yeah.
well, if you like it or
if you
follow
don't
us.
like it,
If you
hey,
follow us.
I promise you, if you put a negative comment on there, though, I'm talking about it because it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
So please
Fun.
put negative comments on there too if you don't like our fucking
Lots
shit.
of them. Even if you have to sign in under a different name.
We're good with that. You know what I mean? Because
We
I'll
don't care.
probably say the name when you leave a negative comment too. I'll be like, this asshole. This asshole.
That will be your name. This asshole.
This asshole. But so,
yeah.
anyways, watch us again next week, man. We'll probably do something else. Fucking, we just like to talk about whatever bullshit there is.
Yeah, this was just a real random one. Like we just sat down, we winged it.
So that's probably what all of them are gonna be, because I
Well,
mean,
just
it wouldn't be inappropriate if it was like,
Oh, I can talk about
No.
inappropriate shit. Like really inappropriate shit.
yeah.
Like, do you know what's better than winning the Special Olympics?
What's that?
Not being retarded.
Oh my god. So, on that note, we're tuning out. Appreciate you guys.